close and personal with people, with weirdos and straight-laced people and humane people, just all these varieties of people. And being from here and being very peculiar about my LA movies, it just touched me deeply. And as a reference as well for what we were doing, it was very easy to hand out to our crew and say, this is a little time machine to get back to what was going on. Our film takes place in 1970, but this was even more valuable, jumping back a few years before, seeing it feels, and it does feel like in this film, that you captured this like ticking bomb that was kind of just festering around here, this sort of a fever about to sort of blow up, and all this sort of communist stuff still going on, the war in Southeast Asia still going on, and these still sort of vibrant old silent movie stars still sort of chugging along. And that was the stuff that I liked the most, is how you had some of these youthful sort of the band come in, or the zombie kids going to the pharmacist of LA's house. I mean, what the fuck was going on? I mean, the fascinating thing is, I am accused, I mean, the French being very sensitive to such things, banned it, because they said it promoted drugs. During the 18 months that I filmed, I never saw anyone use any form of drugs. Now, unlike your film, which is, I would say, in 9 out of 10 shots, somebody's smoking a joint. And remember, I come from Colorado, and we know about marijuana. In addition to growing some very fine marijuana, we actually have legalized it and forced the entire country to start legalizing it now, because it doesn't kill you. And I have to confess, being a citizen of Colorado and being perfectly legally authorized to smoke marijuana, that I have smoked marijuana. Now, I have never, although I am technically a social scientist, I have never conducted any analysis of it, and I certainly would not advise anyone under the age of 15 or 16. His brain might still be developing, but I have to confess that I even smoked it in California and in Paris 70 years ago, or 65 years ago. And it may affect the minds of people. I don't know, because I haven't done the studies. The studies that I am familiar with do not indicate that effect. And in Inherent Vice, I would say that it is the leitmotif that effectively runs through those structures. Well, somebody once said nobody ever got into a bar fight smoking a joint.
Having been in bar fights, I can only tell you that I used to drink alcohol. And I stopped 14 years ago at the age of 70. And I stopped because it stopped me. I've been in Moscow, I've been dancing, I've been drinking lots of vodka. I came back to Boulder, I went to a Christmas party, I drank about 3 fingers of vodka. And next thing I knew, I was in a beautiful golden haze. I thought it was groovy, floating, and there was a clear spot in the middle. There was my wife with a stethoscope. She carries one in the car, she's trained. And she said, "You don't have any pulse or blood pressure." And I said, "Well, I really feel good." I didn't feel anything. And then the emergency room guys came in, put an oxygen mask on me, and I suddenly was in total super reality. And I said, "Geez, oxygen is great stuff. I've never done oxygen before." And about 3 weeks later, I tried to sip a glass of wine, and I felt that same vagus nerve nausea coming, and I said, "I think alcohol and I are just part of the company." I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to live right up here on Hillcrest Drive, and I would walk down to the corner of Highland and Hollywood, where there used to be a drugstore, Rexall, which is now other things. And for $1, I bought my 5 packs of cigarettes, 20 cents each. That was $1, and you could get 100 cigarettes for $1. And I would smoke them in one day while sitting at my typewriter in the sun lifting weights to be very healthy. While I was writing scripts about incredible films, which never got produced. 5 years ago, I noticed some blood in my urine, and the urologist looked inside of me with laser thing and all that. He said, I've never seen this before in my life. You have over 30 cancers in your bladder, 2 bigger than golf balls. And I said, well, how come I've never had any symptoms until now, a little blood in my urine? He said, it's because you're very healthy. I said, wait a minute, doctor, there seems to be a contradiction. How can I be very healthy with that condition? He says, if you weren't very healthy, you would have died long ago. Did you ever smoke cigarettes? I said, yes, but I stopped in 1964. He said, well, that gave you bladder cancer. I said, I've never heard of bladder cancer in cigarettes. He said, actually, most bladder cancer in men comes from smoking cigarettes. Well, fortunately, the technology, had it been 5 or 10 years earlier, they would have cut me open, I probably would have lost my bladder. Now, the beautiful blonde nurse, she came into the examining room, she seized me by my genitals, shot some lidocaine into me. Immediately, I went totally numb. And then the doctor came in and he stuck a fiber optic thing inside of me. And I watched it on a 3-foot colored TV. I watched the inside of my bladder on television. And with the laser went, and he zapped all the pathways. And here I am today. The reason I bring up this rather unsavory point is there are probably people here who both drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes. I can only tell you, if you want to live to be an old guy, I'm so old I'm no longer a senior citizen. I was a senior citizen 20 years ago. If you got to put anything inside your body, marijuana is probably one of the safest things.
Do you still smoke weed?
What?
It's legal here, so we're all right.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't want to advocate anything to anyone who's under the age of consent. Even in California, because someone might accuse me of contributing to delinquency, people, something like that. Whatever you feel like doing to yourself is your problem, or your pleasure, or whatever it is. Do whatever you want. I don't recommend anything. I don't disrecommend it. I disrecommend smoking cigarettes, and I disrecommend drinking alcohol. I love the taste of fine wine or a nice liqueur. But unfortunately, the nature of reality says I better not do that anymore. And I enjoy life. I enjoy seeing you all. I enjoy being here. I enjoy the privilege and honor of having a very talented young man appreciate something I've done without ever knowing him or anything about it. And the fact that I'm here is totally due to his fantastic good taste.